This is going to be Ragefire Chasm as a Fire Mage. Doing something a little different today. We're skipping ahead to a new character. So my Mistweaver Monk has been very hard at work last 2.5 weeks or so, trying to meet the requirements for allied races and things. This was what I planned to make my mage. I have a Vulpera. So yeah, finally I was able to actually make my mage character and play her. And it's pretty cool. So, right, in a damage roll here. This just happened yesterday, so yeah, skipping ahead in time. Mistweaver's not going away or anything. I'm just going to switch around a little bit. Show some other characters when it feels appropriate. Anyway, right, so Druid Tank, is that a Shaman Healer, I think? I remember that being some kind of troll, something. Feral Druid, and it looks like a Hunter. No, that's a Druid, right. Druid Healer, Druid Tank, Druid Feral, okay. Got 3 out of 4 types of Druids. Neat. Anyway, right, so, Fire Mage. This was the first dungeon I did as this character. Fresh level 20. Allied races all start at level 20, so this was her first dungeon. And I had played a Fire Mage fairly extensively a while back. Wait for the healer, you say. Right, okay, so no, that is a Shaman. Alright, I was mixing up my dungeons. So I can see that blue dot on the minimap. This tank is not waiting for anybody. Just wants to go. Figures the healer will catch up eventually, I guess. Right, so, yeah, where do I start with this? So right, playing a damage roll. Stay behind the tank, don't pull threat, and beyond that, just try to make sure everything dies as quickly as you can. Do interrupts, crowd control if necessary. Right, so you're seeing all those little auras on the right next to my character. My auto loot is off. I fixed that at some point. I guess that's a per character setting. It was not on for this character for some reason when I created her. Right, so I'm playing a ranged damage dealer, so a lot of things are different here. Fire Mage at this level is missing a lot of the tools that I need for it to feel good. But this is a level 20 experience. So, right, let's talk about those things that are popping up first. So Action Bar has Fireball on 1, Fire Blast on 2, Pyroblast on 3, Scorch on 4, Flame Strike on 5. So Fireball is my main spell. That's what I'm casting most of the time. Just, yeah, sit there, press 1. I have to hold still to cast this one. Has, you know, that much of a cast time. Every time it lands a critical strike, I get that smaller flame swoosh on the side, that one you're seeing now. Fire Blast is on a 12-second cooldown, so it's an instant cast. Does pretty good damage, more than Fireball. But so, landing a critical strike gives me the heating up status. Landing a second critical strike in a row gives me a hot streak, which lets me do an instant Pyroblast. Pyroblast is like a super fireball, much stronger one. Adderog's looking at me, so I move to the side. So the thing that I want is as many instant cast Pyroblasts as I can get. Pyroblast has a very long cast time normally. You can hard cast it, but it seems like... I'm not sure when you'd ever want to. I don't usually end up doing that. Something that I think changed, or maybe I just forgot, is that Flame Strike shares the same property. So basically, right, so this is all about the hot streak. So when I land a critical with a fireball, which just happens at random, what I usually want to do is while I'm casting my next fireball, there we go, auto loot, I fixed it. When I cast my next fireball, because I always want to end my one fireball cast with starting another, I'll Fire Blast in the middle of that to do my second critical strike and get to the hot streak, that larger thing there. Then when that next fireball goes off, I'll do my instant Pyroblast. So, depends on random numbers how much damage I'm going to do. Like, this is a very critical dependent specialization. So clearly the stat that's going to be most important to me after Intellect is Critical Strike. I haven't read any modern Fire Mage guides, but at least the way this is looking... Yeah, so sometimes, like right there, I'll just happen to get 2 critical strikes in a row with a fireball without involving Fire Blast. but usually I need to actually manipulate it. Okay, so those are the first 3 spells. Then there's Scorch, my number 4. It's, so it doesn't have a travel time, unlike Fireball and Pyroblast. Just as soon as the cast goes off, the damage lands. But and it's weaker than Fireball, but the interesting thing is I can cast it while I'm moving. I don't know if I do that at all in here, but if I need to move and want to still be dealing some damage, I can just be using Scorch. Not sure if it would ever make sense to be trying to use it for, like, it's a faster cast than Fireball. To, like, do it as a quick cast to get another critical sooner, I doubt that would end up working out. Because it's not like it has a higher critical chance or anything. Yeah, so as I discover, I don't see it so much in this dungeon. Because I'm just kind of figuring out which buttons to press when. But as I play this character more, I learn that, like, my primary concern is getting critical strikes and managing my hot streak. Secondary concern... Yeah, it doesn't last very long. It's like 15 seconds or something when I get the hot streak, a lot less when I get the warming up. So, like, to get a second critical needs to happen quickly to use that... Anyone need chest? I don't know what that means. Oh, did you get some loot that you're offering to trade? Maybe that's it. Oh, that's Blink, by the way. Just teleports me forward. It's very disorienting. I just instantly warp to a spot that's a bit in front of me. I'm used to the Monk's Roll or Chi Torpedo, which is kind of like the same thing, but is a lot smoother. It just zooms forward instead of instantly teleporting there. Right, so when I'm not thinking about managing my critical strikes, the other thing I'm thinking about is my cast bar, because, like, it's that long for a fireball to go off. I'm finding myself wanting to switch targets before a thing dies, like that. Yeah, so that thing died before my fireball cast could finish. So, like, if it's below about, I don't know, 1/5 of the health, I want to look for a higher health target so that my cast can actually go off before the thing dies, because otherwise that's just wasted time in casting on the current target if it dies before the cast goes off. So yeah, this feels real good for bosses. It's a little harder to manage for weaker enemies that don't last as long. But yeah, when I'm fighting a boss, I get a chance to, you know, to heat up, do all the stuff. Get multiple critical strikes. Alright, so there's a Fire Blast, there's a Pyroblast, and now I'm just waiting for another critical, and for Fire Blast to come off cooldown. Because if I get another critical now, I can't manipulate a second one. Yeah, there we go. The instant Pyroblasts are also a chance to move, because I don't have to hold still to cast them. So if I need to reposition, then that's a good time to do it. And yeah, my number 5 ability, I hadn't figured out how to use it at this point. So that's Flame Strike. It's a targeted area of effect, instant damage. Well, with a cast time. That's also made instant by Hot Streak. Mage is complicated, and Fire feels like one of the simpler specs. I looked at Frost, because I have played a Frost Mage, not as much as Fire, and it kind of halfway made sense. Fire seemed more interesting right now, so that's what I'm focusing on. Then I looked at Arcane and didn't understand anything at all about it. I hear it's simple, but I don't know, I need to play with it to understand in what way that it's simple, because it seemed complicated to me. I've never really played Arcane though, so I don't have the experience to lean on. Anyway, yeah, so Flame Strike. So basically, like, when I have a hot streak, I sort of have a choice of either Flame Strike or Pyroblast. And which one of those is the right choice, as far as I can tell, just depends on how many targets I'm in combat with. I looked at the numbers, and for each individual target, Flame Strike does just a little bit less than half of what Pyroblast does, so I think that means the target count threshold is 3. So if I'm fighting 3 things at once, then I want to be Flame Striking. If I'm fighting 2 or 1, then Pyroblast is the better choice. things like this also sometimes change as the character levels up. I looked ahead at the abilities she will be getting in future levels, and a lot of them will definitely change my playstyle. Fire Blast is going to get 2 charges, so at any time, if both charges are up, I could manipulate an instant Pyroblast. So yeah, Fire Mage, a little bit complicated. Whole lot of fun though, it's cool. While I'm doing this, I do find myself kind of missing playing a healer. Like, I want to be healing. I don't know, it's just what I'm used to. But yeah, just gotta do more dungeons and get used to this role, I guess. People want to do another dungeon, I want to at least turn in quests first. I think I clicked the accept button, but then other people didn't and they decided to leave, so I didn't do another dungeon with that group. I wanted to stop this and start a new session, but that session went nowhere, so that's how this one ended. Alright, so that's my Fire Mage. You'll be seeing more of her, but also Mistweaver, and also another character. I'm gonna do a variety today. So yeah, see you for the next one.